So, kind of what I talked about earlier is we're going to create a Powtoon. We're going to switch things up a little bit, and we are going to create a Powtoon. What is a Powtoon? That's what we are going to talk about. So a Powtoon is a multimedia platform that allows you to present information in an animated sense. So essentially all we're going to be doing is creating like a Google Slides. We know what a Google Slides is, right? We'll be doing science. Okay, so we're going to be doing like a Google Slide, but it can also be in a video sense. So it'll kind of give you the power to present information in a way that captures your audience's attention. Okay, so it'll kind of be like a mix between a Google Slide and also creating. That's right. Yep, thank you. Yep. Okay, so it'll kind of give us an opportunity to create a Google Slide, or if you're familiar with the PowerPoint, but also give you a little bit of creativity in a sense that you can create a movie, okay? The best part is that it's free, okay? So we can utilize this as long as whatever we are doing is under 3 minutes. And when we're making our videos, they're not going to be anywhere near 3 minutes, but just give you an idea of something that we can't just make them as long as we want. So if you were wanting to do this at home, and you wanted to make something longer, it would just have to be up to 3 minutes. Okay? So, what I have is an example of a Powtoon. This is something that I created last year that we did in class, and we'll probably use it again this year, but it gives it kind of an idea of what we're going to be doing. Okay, so this was an assignment at the end of the year. It was called Math is Everywhere. Essentially what kids had to do was they had to find math outside of the classroom. Okay? But what I did was, instead of just standing up here talking and giving you guys instructions, I put it in the form of a Powtoon so you guys can kind of get it in a different sense. And I think it creates a little bit, it's a little bit more engaging than standing and listening to me talk like I do over and over. Leon, you just want to take a seat there by Kinsley. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. Okay, now obviously if this is what we were going to be, if we were doing that assignment, we would go through that a little bit slower, right? But does everybody kind of see the gist of what a Powtoon is? So there was a lot of information created. You can include music, you can include different animations, you can include different characters. Okay, so it kind of gives you a creativity that I don't think you guys have had really at school, and especially in like a core class. Okay? All right, now, so what are we going to be using it for? What we're going to do is we're going to take a concept that we have learned since January. Okay, so in math class we've talked about order of operations, we've talked about fractions, we've talked about using integers. Okay, we're going to continue to talk about multiple concepts. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick something that we've done in January. And today is really all we're doing is just introducing it. But what we're going to be doing is I will give you a list of stuff you can pick from. Okay, so then you're going to either create a word problem. Your other option is to go and find one, like go in our math book and one of the topics that we've done, and you can go and find one. So when you're doing this, you're going to create a word problem using one of the concepts that we've talked about, one of the things that we've covered so far since January, and then we will create our Powtoon, And then hopefully by the end of the year, I'm not really sure how long this is going to take, but hopefully by middle of April, then we'll be able to, each person will be able to show their Powtoon, and as a class we can go through and kind of solve it. Okay? So, another word for using a Powtoon would be to say digital storytelling. Okay, so if you hear me say digital storytelling, all that means is we're going to be working on our Powtoon. Okay, any questions about kind of what our assignment's going to be? Do you, so there's no questions? All right, then we'll move forward. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with our Powtoon account. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to powtoon.com. Powtoon.com. Okay, now don't do anything else. We're going to go step by step through this because it can be kind of confusing. So, powtoon.com, Powtoon. Okay, so you can kind of see some of the, whenever you get to the site, you can kind of see some of the different options, and I'll get out a presentation and I'll go through this with you guys too. Okay, so you can kind of see some of the different options that it gives you to create awesome videos and presentations. So what we're going to do is we're going to click, let's go log in. So when you click log in, remember everything that we want to do at school with our Chromebooks, we want to stay with Google. So what you're going to do on the right side, does everybody see where it says continue with Google? So click on continue with Google. Okay, and then you're going to sign in with your school account that pops up. Okay, so where it says choose account, you're going to choose that account. Now don't do anything after that. So when you do that, it should say welcome to Powtoon. We send all kinds of awesome trips. So essentially what it's saying is that they'll send you emails. If you want the emails, you can click yes, count me in, or if you don't, you can click no, no thanks, ignore this. So it doesn't really matter, up to you. That's fine. So if it takes you to your home screen, then that's fine. Okay, so once you get through the welcome to Powtoon, does everybody get through there? Okay, so I'm going to log in as well. Okay, so this is kind of like your screen for whenever you're creating Google Slides. So it's kind of the same thing. Whenever you open up Google Slides, it's going to give you different templates that you can use. Same thing with Powtoon. It gives us a multitude of options that we can use. We can do a more presentation style, kind of like my video was, or your other option is to have more people and more music and more transitions. So it's kind of up to you, but what we're going to do is we're going to click blank Powtoon. Does everybody see where it says blank Powtoon? On mine, it's right here. Okay, so everybody get where we're going. Okay, if your screen doesn't look like mine, which some people have different screens right now, just click on blank and it's at the left, on the bottom left side where it says blank. So click blank. Okay, so when you choose a blank Powtoon, you're going to essentially be able to create. You're going to be able to create it from scratch. Okay, now this is probably a little bit more challenging, but it gives us a couple different looks for our Powtoon. Did everybody get to a point where it looks like this, where there is, yep. Okay, so you can kind of go through and you can choose. They have a cartoon one, they have a whiteboard one, they have a modern one, and there's just a bunch of them. So you can kind of, so what I want you to do real quick, I'm going to get everybody caught up. So if you're here, I want you to look through some of the different the different styles, and if you're not, then I will get you to where we want to be at. Geo, click horizontal to your right. No, in the middle. Yeah, click that one. Okay, so does anybody have any questions so far about what we are doing, or does this look like something different, something that's going to be enjoyable for the next couple weeks doing? Does it look like it'll be something to give you some creativity? Okay, so the last thing before we're going to kind of close up for today, because we're going to come back tomorrow and we're going to go into this a little bit more. I just wanted to get our account set up, and I just wanted to make sure that each of us has the ability, so if you want to go in and click a look that you want for your Powtoon, you can go and click that right now. So whichever one you click, this is not a final decision deal. This is just what it looks like right now. We can always go back. Okay, and I've noticed a couple people have gone in and started looking at the different animations. Guys, there's a ton of stuff, to the point where it could kind of be a challenge just because there's so much stuff that you want to do. Now, one thing that I will note is that some of the stuff is not free, like all the cool stuff. There's some really cool stuff that's not free, so we won't be able to use that. We can still put together a really cool presentation with the free animation. Okay, so what I want you to do real quick is I want you to put your screens down for 1 minute, and then when I was going through this, I have one more video example, and it's an example of a digital storytelling in math. Okay, so this is not one that I've created. This is one that I found on their website, but it's gonna kind of give you an idea of what yours can look like. So this is a word problem in math. Now, obviously with this, it's a little bit above what we're doing. It's some algebra type stuff. Okay, so we won't be doing something like that. But whenever we're going through, you can kind of see how at the beginning the information was presented. It had some transitions. It had some characters on it. It was able to give us a word problem. It's just a different way to present the word problem than looking in a book or me writing it on the board. Okay, and you guys are going to have the power to create your own, and then as a class we will go through and solve them. Okay?